On Bounce, it is perhaps $1 million question. How do you raise a baby without going bankrupt? And that is the question we are asking our expert investment advisor. I want to welcome back Rhondale Haywood. He is the vice president at PNC Wealth Management. He also brought along his wife, Deb, and their newest addition, 7-month-old daughter, Annalise. So thank you guys for being here.
My pleasure.
And
absolutely.
Congratulations. She is just adorable.
Well, thank you. She takes after her mom.
So you are not only an expert in finances,
yes,
but also an expert on how to raise children without breaking the bank, because Annalise is your fourth.
Yes, 1 of 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has being parents changed the way you look at your finances?
I think Annalise is going to answer that question for us. The biggest thing that we have to think about and other parents need to think about is the risks are greater, okay? Deborah and I can take care of ourselves quite easily, but if something were to happen to us financially, the little one can't exactly go out and get a job.
Right.
That's why I recommend people, if you're going to have a baby, one of the biggest things you can do is get that 3 to 6 months of living expenses together.
Okay.
And also have a plan to protect yourself against a loss in income. Again, think about a scenario where it's just the 2 of us. We can certainly do beans and rice for a while, but kids have other nutritional needs, etc. That's very important. So things like disability insurance, which I never thought about until I had a child.
Okay.
I'm talking about life insurance. So all these little things come into place you never think about before you have a child.
And you guys made the decision. You stay at home,
yes,
right? That's correct? And I guess with having 4 children and knowing the cost of child care, that was the best decision for your family.
Yes, save a lot of money.
You save a lot of money. How much does it really cost to have a child?
Well, the answer that I always tell people before they have children, as much as you want it to.
Okay.
Okay. If you listen to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, they'll tell you, wait a minute, $250,000 all the way up to age 18. No kids for me, right? That's what you would think when you hear a number like that. And that's for an average middle class family. But there's so many variables to pull. It's going to depend really on your individual circumstances and your preference. For example, you just pointed out we chose to be a single income household.
Okay.
Well, so the child care expenses are a fraction of what they are for us if we had 2 parents working outside the home.
Because I feel like with 4 kids, one of your salaries would almost primarily be going to child care.
Yeah, in a lot of situations it is. I'll tell you, the median household income in the United States is $50,000. If you assume that both the male and the female make that same rate, that's $25,000. I can tell you that's easily taken up by 2 kids being in child care. Very easily.
The major sources of expenses for having a child.
Think about it in stages.
Okay.
It's sort of like you're starting a business. You got your startup costs. The biggest one there is obviously the birth and prenatal care.
Okay.
That can cost you anywhere between $10,000 and $30,000. Ouch, right? Depending on a couple of things. One, complications with birth.
Yeah.
If you have to have a C-section or not, that's going to be the biggest upfront cost.
What can be done to keep those startup costs down?
So a couple of things. One, my wife will tell you, taking care of yourself while you're pregnant can actually keep your costs down a lot. Because you think about the more complications you have with birth, the more expensive it can be. So that's something that we certainly practiced that was very helpful.
Were you fortunate enough to have, complication-free pregnancies? I don't want to be all in your business.
Yeah,
I'm just,
absolutely.
that taking care of yourself, getting enough rest.
It makes a difference in
Exercise,
labor,
which was a big one.
So you exercise regularly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it makes a difference in your labor and delivery and complications and the cost.
If you can help, and you can speak to this, you can help to bring down that likelihood of a C-section. You can save yourself $20,000 or more in health care expenses. That's a really, really big deal.
Wow. That's a lot of moolah. And okay. All right. Let me see, I'm going to get my questions here. What is the basic financial advice you offer to new parents?
Well, one of my favorite pieces of advice, and we love this, and actually this is what you're seeing is a testament to this: buy used and save the difference. Okay, everything little precious Annalise is wearing right now, either we got for free or we got at a secondhand shop.
Okay.
Other thing I tell folks: use social media. It's 2016. Hey, just had a baby. Does anybody have a stroller or 0 to 3 month clothes or whatever it is? Last thing I'll tell you: be creative. One of the things that really worked for us is when we had our first child, who's almost 8 years old now, is instead of asking for the cute little baby outfits that they throw up on and they only wear once, we asked for contributions to the college fund. And so very early on, we had a decently funded college fund because we decided to forego the fancy outfits and fund up the college fund.
You know, as the stay-at-home mom who is tasked with keeping this ship afloat, what is one thing you would say that helps you be mindful of those financial costs that come with raising not only, you know, one child, but four?
Yeah, I think, you know, being creative, like you said, and also keeping your priorities in line. You know, for some people, based on your family preferences and what your goals are for your children, you know, people might want to spend more money on sports or music lessons. Other people might want to invest in education and things like that. So I think if you can keep your priorities and make that the driving point of your finances, then, you know, things kind of fall into place and you don't feel pulled in so many other different ways.
Yeah, prioritizing is key. Did you have some other
I did.
tips?
So tips, takeaway, and number one, I really want you to have a plan to protect your income.
Okay.
That's super, super important. Just
And
look
that's
at this little
that 3 to
precious
6
plan. Yeah.
months.
Well, it can be. Disability insurance
Okay,
is one
disability.
that I recommend.
Okay.
Oh, she wants mama.
All right.
The other thing, get a budget. It's been a while since I talked about a budget.
Okay.
All those expenses, all these little accessories and stuff that come with baby, you got to find a way to fund that on a recurring basis. Number three, definitely the 3 to 6 month living expenses.
Okay.
One thing that I don't hear very often, tax savings. This little precious little one, depending on your tax situation, could bring several $1,000s, Brigitte. It's not going to pay for everything, but
Right.
it helps. Several $1,000s of tax savings. Most people wait until refund time. Oh, I got my tax refund.
Right.
To get that money back, where you change your withholdings, the IRS takes less money out, and you've got some money to help pay for some of the expenses
okay.
for the baby.
Okay.
That's one thing I think is underutilized.
Okay. You also said, I see creative vacations, babysitting
Great
swap.
idea with babysitting.
Okay.
So babysitting can be super expensive.
Yeah.
In fact, you notice we have 4. You do the math. There's 3 missing. We have somebody babysitting our kids now. But we have several families that we work with that we exchange babysitting dates with so that they can go out and spend some time alone, and we can as well. And it doesn't cost you anything. Just be creative. You don't necessarily have to expend. My wife pointed out a good point. She says people think kids are expensive because they spend so much money on their first kid. They buy the stroller that converts to the rocket ship when they turn 16. They buy the little boutique clothes that are like $85 for an outfit. I'll tell you what, that is not happening in the Haywood household.
I hear that.
We keep it tight, we keep it real. I'm just going to tell you that.
I like that. We keep it tight, we keep it real. Creative vacations?
So you don't always have to pack the kids and go to Disney World. Brigitte, my kids do not know what Disney World is until the past 12 months, and I blame the neighbors for that. I was trying to keep it on the low, but they're like, Dad, what is Disney World? And I'm like, it's an expensive place that we'll probably go to one day in the future.
But
So,
not right
for example, we took a nice drive out to Asheville.
Okay.
And a day trip is a nice way to do things, particularly in this area. The beach is very close. You don't have to spend a week at the beach. We've gone for just a night or two. Found a decent hotel, spend some time on the beach. You don't have to really spend a lot of money. Get the in-laws to help.
Okay.
That's a very good help. If you have that opportunity. Or if you have to move someplace new and you don't know anybody, make some friends that you think will watch your kids one day.
And that will not be crazy.
That will not be crazy.
Vet them before
background
you
checks.
leave the
That's
precious
right.
cargo with
You
them.
can do background checks on
All
almost
right.
anybody these days.
For more information on PNC Wealth Management, log on to WBTV.com, the Web Extra section, right there on the Home tab. Rhondale, Deb, little Annalise, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for
thank you.
sharing part of your family with us tonight.
Oh, my pleasure.
And great information, so I hope everyone was taking notes. So we're going to go back over to Delano.